because Red Hat actually adds tremendous value to this open source software. There's instead of downloading it for 6 hours over the web, you get a DVD, you get a 0800 number to call when it doesn't install correctly, you get someone to blame, right, when you have a problem. Okay, so this is just a tremendous value to organizations large and small. So we might just ask, how can other for-profit entities add to value to open educational resources? One that is a very important innovation over the last decade is the tremendous rise of print on demand for developing textbooks. People might have heard about the espresso book machine that can print books for about 1 cent per page. People might have heard of companies like Lulu.com or Coop.com. Coop is the publisher or the printer behind Yahoo Print, Google Print, a lot of other companies. And it's companies like Coop that enable us to do things like create these completely professional textbooks that are printed on, in fact, the exact same printing presses that Addison Wesley, Prentice Hall, all of these publishing houses print their books on, but basically 5 times cheaper. Okay, this is a text that's used at Rice University in a junior level class. This is $21. Okay, it used to cost about $121. I could hand it around in case anybody's interested. Anybody interested in looking at a book? Probably not. Does anybody look at books anymore? I don't know. Print is still very, very important, okay, in case you hadn't checked. Okay, so let's take that one step further. People might have heard of a company called Flat World Knowledge. They have a very interesting business model. Their business model is to make the textbooks completely free, but they're going to use those as a loss leader, okay, to get people to use their system, where they're then going to earn dollars from all the supplementals, assessments, extra study aids, all kinds of other things for students. Okay, that's their business model. Okay, and if you take this, you look at the business models I just talked about, these are actually verbatim, right, in a very nice article by Chris Anderson, who actually wrote the book The Long Tail. And it's going to be a book from Chris coming out in the next year called Why $0 is the Future of Business. And you might just think about this model is the same as the razor blade model. Right? Give away the razor, and then what do you charge for? The razor blades. It's like the HP inkjet printer model. Give away the printer almost for free, sell it way below cost, and then gouge everybody on the printer cartridges. Right? Okay, last. Quality control. Quality is very important, and so many people have this concept that open educational resources mean this freewheeling world, anything goes, and it's impossible to control the quality. And while I would say that it's a freewheeling world where anyone can contribute material to this commons, it is in fact really straightforward to add quality control mechanisms on top of these open access repositories. And here's what we're doing with Connexions, is this concept that we call a lens, which you can really just think of as you can think of it in a bunch of ways. But one is it's a portal that's much like a filter that is controlled by an arbitrary third party. For example, the IEEE, Professional Society, is actually controlling a lens which you can get to from a certain URL. And when you go to it, you don't see everything in Connexions. You don't see the whole universe of open educational resources. You only see the material that the IEEE has actually passed through a very careful peer review procedure, found to be high quality, and that they're proud of. Okay, this is something that not only the IEEE is doing, but institutions, universities are starting to build their own lenses, companies are building their own lenses, and even individuals are building their own lenses. And the way to build this is very, very simple, very analogous to social software tools like Delicious. And just to give you a sense, this is also something that could be monetized. Okay? You might imagine an entire universe of free open educational resources, but you might even imagine paying for the right to access a particular lens. Right? Well, people are willing to pay for this. Here's a proof of concept. People pay anywhere from $10 to $30 a year to join something called Faculty of 1,000. Not sure how many people know this, but it's basically a lens on the internet where they have an editorial board of luminary scientists in the biological area that basically comb the web constantly and then basically tag material that they think is useful to their readership, and people are actually willing to pay for this. This is an example of a lens. So just to summarize, the 5 quick points. I think the question is not so much about OER sustainability, but the sustainability of the status quo. Something is going to come in to replace the current way of doing things. All we have to do is look at the software business and the music business to look at what's going to be coming down the pipe as far as the future of educational publishing. We need to realize that educational publishing is a long-tail business, and open educational projects are much more adapted to this kind of market than the traditional markets. But not only that, we can actually make things very compatible for-profits, and we can control the quality. So I'll just end with saying that the 2 challenges that I think are even more important than sustainability are related to intellectual property and technology. I think I will just be very, very brief here because I think I'm over time. But the first is there are a lot of people who say I'm doing open education because I'm using a Creative Commons license. And they don't realize that there are actually 6 main Creative Commons licenses, many of which are incompatible with each other, right? Or people use different technologies for building their repositories of open educational resources, mutually incompatible technologies. Okay? The fact incompatible IP and incompatible technology is really going to slow down the growth of this area, number 1. And number 2, it's going to make it very difficult to build the kind of really easy-to-use tools that we need to really get the hundreds of thousands of people that we need engaged in these kind of projects. Okay, so I think I will end there and say thank you very much, and just tell people if you're interested in open education, you should be signing the Cape Town Declaration.
Thank you. Bye.